The internet is up in arms this week about the CDC because they announced that we shouldn't be eating raw cookie dough due to the danger of it being contaminated. Not just with salmonella from raw eggs, but from E. coli from the raw flour. People are shocked for some reason, despite the fact that the CDC and the FDA have been saying this for years. Here's my official response every year. Thanks, but I'm not going to stop eating cookie dough. And there's nothing you could do to stop me. I know, normally I'm on the side of the CDC and the FDA. And to be fair, they are giving good advice on how you can be as healthy as humanly possible. It's true. If you want to do everything in your power to avoid salmonella and E. coli, you should not eat raw cookie dough. The fact is that, yes, occasionally an egg will be infected with a type of salmonella that doesn't like the human body, and vice versa, causing you quite a bit of pain in the form of diarrhea, vomiting, headache, fever. And yes, occasionally flour will be infected with a type of E. coli that can cause mostly these same sort of symptoms. It was a bit of a surprise, actually, when we realized this a few years back, because normally you need some type of moisture in order to get the really good bacteria thriving in food. But flour is totally dry, so we didn't expect to find E. coli there. But sure enough, there is one type of E. coli that can survive in that condition. Usually you kill E. coli by heating it up. But heating up flour can screw it up for the end consumer who wants to usually bake it into something. And so, if you want flour to do what you buy it to do, you can't kill all the E. coli in it before it hits the shelves. So, if I accept that the CDC and the FDA are correct on all of these points, why will I continue to eat cookie dough? And not just the occasional bite, by the way. I'll make an entire batch of cookie dough with full intention of baking it, but I never actually get around to that step because I fucking love cookie dough. So why do I do this? The answer is simple. Risk assessment. About 60 people got sick back in 2016 when a particular brand of flour was infected with E. coli. Of those, one person experienced kidney failure. No one died and everyone made a full recovery. This year, about the same number of people got sick from E. coli that was in romaine lettuce. That's happening right now. 2 people experienced kidney failure. No one died. That happens pretty much every year with salad greens, every year. In fact, if you look at the press release for this recent romaine lettuce outbreak, the CDC says, and I quote, "Ill people in this outbreak were infected with E. coli bacteria with the same DNA fingerprint as the E. coli strain isolated from ill people in a 2017 outbreak linked to leafy greens in the United States and to romaine lettuce in Canada. The current outbreak is not related to a spring 2018 multi-state outbreak of E. coli 0157H7 infections linked to romaine lettuce." That's right, you guys. There was another romaine lettuce outbreak with E. coli earlier this same year, and 5 people died. A few months later, we were all eating romaine lettuce again. And yet never has the CDC or FDA recommended that we stop visiting salad bars entirely. The recommendation instead is something very specific, like this. CDC is advising that consumers not eat any romaine lettuce harvested from the central coastal growing regions of northern and central California. That's very specific, and it will go away in a few months, and everyone will go back to eating romaine lettuce with nary a care from whence it came. And that's how it should be, honestly, because we always take on a risk when we eat something raw. But that risk is generally so infinitesimally small that to permanently change our behavior about it would be ludicrous. And I should mention that, yes, a woman did die back in 2009 from contaminated cookie dough. Sort of. She had complications that led to several years of medical problems, and eventually those problems led to her death. But it started with E. coli in raw cookie dough. But again, way more people have died from E. coli found in other sources, like fast food, spinach, cheese, other fast food, soy butter, and yeah, other fast food. It's extremely rare, but it's usually fast food. Hamburgers, usually. But again, CDC is not telling us stop eating fast food hamburgers. One of my bloggers over at Grounded Parents wrote about this issue back in 2016, pointing out that they take a far greater risk every time they put their kids in the car. There are 1.2 eggs with salmonella for every 10,000, meaning you'd have to eat one entire raw egg every day for 22 years to be statistically likely to get sick once. E. coli from flour is even rarer than that. You're several orders of magnitude more likely to die in a car crash than you are to even get a stomach ache from cookie dough. I mean, an E. coli stomach ache, not the natural stomach ache that I get after I eat my nightly pound of gingerbread dough during Christmas season. Okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe I do have a problem. Anyway, sure, riding in a car, you might argue, is a necessity sometimes. But I'm here to tell you that that's only sometimes. I know this because I'm painfully aware of exactly how lazy I am and how often I drive my car somewhere when I could easily walk or skateboard or bike or use one of those electric scooters that everybody in San Francisco just seems to love. So yeah, everybody just calm the fuck down. If you want to stop eating cookie dough, go for it. No one's going to make you. Maybe you don't even like it that much anyway. Or maybe you're paranoid and you've also decided that you're going to give up all raw fruits and vegetables and sushi. I mean, sushi. I haven't even talked about sushi. Think of those intestinal parasites you're risking. Those are so much grosser and creepier than a day of diarrhea. But as for me, I take my joys when I can get them. And when it's Christmas time, one of my greatest joys is baking my grandmom's gingerbread cookies. I mean, if I ever get around to putting them in the oven. But you know, in honor of the CDC, I made up a batch and I managed to bake a cookie. The rest was cookie dough that I consumed. But this one's for you, CDC. It's okay.